Before I set up another challenge, or before I set up another giveaway, rather, there was a challenge for the brief shining moment where both of us were here.
Yes.
For Kathleen and I to share hilarious parenting stories. So, Kathleen, take it away.
So, like a couple days, like last week or something like that, I was like, I need to give Penelope a bath because occasionally you must bathe the baby.
Apparently?
I know. They told us that when we took her home. No, they're not like cats
you didn't
at all.
get that model?
No.
You need to get the upgrade.
You gotta pay extra for the Teflon.
Only a full coating?
So anyhow, I was like, I need to give Penelope a bath. So I ran a bath, what I thought would be the appropriate temperature, and then, got Penelope out of her clothes and stuff like that in her diaper, and I came and put her down because she likes to look at the bath before she gets into the bath. So she's standing there peering into the bathtub while naked, because you generally don't put a clothed baby into the bath. And I just dip my hand in it to make sure.
All stuff we're learning.
To make sure that it's an okay temperature. And I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool. Maybe I'll just run a little bit of hot water before I get her in there. So I turn around to just put a bit more hot water in the bath and swish it around so she's comfortable and happy. And I hear this other tinkling sound coming from behind me. And she is peeing on the bathroom floor, which is fine because, there are worse places for pee to happen. It's close to the right place. And she's not in the tub.
Baby pee is kind of benign.
And I'm like, oh, crap, though. Oh, no. How am I, should I clean up the pee before I put the baby in the bath? And then she gets kind of startled because I'm like, you're peeing. And then she's like, why did you startle? And then she slips in her puddle of her own pee and then falls on her ass. And then I did have to put her into the bath, even though it was a little cool because then she was covered in pee. She was like, wah! Wait, splash, 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 splash. So she was fine after, the initial, shock of falling on her butt on the floor wore off. But that was kind of funny. And then I was like, Graham, please, I was like, because Graham was out doing something, and I was like, he really needs to come home because I actually can't take Penelope out of the bath until I get this pee cleaned up, but I can't clean up the pee because Penelope's in the bath. So you can't leave a baby unattended in the bath. But then he came home 5 minutes later, and I was like, Graham, thank God you're home. Clean up some pee. Glamorous life we lead.
It was okay. So.
She seems unharmed by the event.
Oh, she was fine.
Oh, she was just startled. Wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
I would.
Slipping in a puddle of your own urine?
Urine?
We've got 2 giveaways left. I assume. Maybe this is presumptive,
Wait,
but
aren't you going to tell your half of the story?
Oh, right, sure. Okay. So, the other day, this is during Desert Bus, right? It's hard. There's a time dilation that happens with Desert Bus where it both feels like it just started. We could have started this morning at 10 a.m. for all I can tell.
Discern.
That and that this is the only thing we've ever done. This has been a sliver of time and all the time. So I'm pretty sure this was during Desert Bus. So, Kathleen got up because Penelope woke up. Kathleen got up, fed Penelope, and was trying to get Penelope back to sleep. And puts her back in the crib, and Penelope goes back to sleep. And then 10 minutes later, she wakes up. And then is just sort of fussing and won't go back to sleep. And so Kathleen's like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm super tired. Can you please just get her back to sleep? Because it's nothing. Because Penelope's super chill. So it'll just be like, all right, fine. Take her, just be like, and and she'll just clonk off and put her back down in the crib. Pick her up, and she's just wide-eyed, but not upset. She's just she 3 or 4? No, she just turned 1. So she's not upset, which is weird for her being awake. This is 5 a.m., which is so if she's awake at that point, she's mad that she's awake. But this time she was just bug-eyed and was like, "What's going on?" Which is very, very unusual. So I'm like, "Oh, this is weird." All right, I'm gonna take her into the living room so that Kathleen can sleep. So I'll just sort of jiggle her to sleep in the living room. Kavrin is like, yes, a live one. This is one of our cats. He's like, this is perfect. I can get pets now. So he comes up and sits beside me on the couch here, and not scratching me, but with his claws that we haven't trimmed. He's like, hey, on my arm. And I'm like, but I can't. My hand is under her head, so I can't pet the cat. So I'm like, okay, hang on. I gotta do this. Take this arm and pet the cat like this while I have the baby here. And sure, this will be fine. All right, have I pet the cat enough? Okay, he's not scratching my arm anymore. Okay, fine. So I put my arm back over here, and then he's like, hey. And I'm like, look, I can't pet you right now. And he's like, what if I put my paws on the baby's head? And I'm like, I can't. What am I supposed to do with now? Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll sit somewhere where he can't sit beside me. So I get up and I go into the office and sit in my office chair. And Cavern goes, oh, okay, and jumps up on the desk and is still trying to paw at her head. And I'm like, okay. So I spin my chair around so that there's nothing beside me. And he sits on the keyboard, turning on my computer and bathing the room in light. And Penelope through this whole thing is just like, what is this, man? What's going on? And I'm like, how am I supposed to do? So I go back into the bedroom and I'm like, maybe it's your diaper. Maybe the diaper. So I guess it feels a little full. Take the diaper off. It's basically not full. It's hardly wet at all. So I'm like, all right, fine. And I reach for the wipes. The wipes are empty. So I'm like, okay, hang on. Still fending off this cat. The baby's here going like, I don't even know where I am anymore. And the wipes are empty. So I get the spare, the refill of the wipes, and I pull. This infuriates me. The wipes container has like an end that pops off the entire end, and then you slide like refill wipes inside. The other end also pops off and reveals a closed end. So I pick it up and I pull the end off, and it's the wrong end, which in and of itself is not a problem, but this is just like this endless knock-on of like little annoying things. So I'm like, put that back on, turn it around, pull it off, wipes inside, put the thing back on, get a wipe, clean the baby, change the baby, okay, sit back down in the bed. And then she's just like, I'm never going to sleep. That's not happening now. So, eventually I'm just like singing, trying to jiggle her to bed. The cat's now given up at this point, and I think like 6:30 or something. Kathleen's like, I'm just gonna get up and take her for a walk or for a car drive. Take her for a car, and so
I took her away.
Kathleen was
So
like,
after,
all right.
Now, the postscript to this story is after like 90 minutes of Graham trying to get her to sleep in the middle, like of the very, very early morning. 3 minutes into the car ride.
This is the only time this has happened, by the way.
She was just out, and she stayed out for like 2.5 hours. So
that was unusual.
Like, well, I guess I'm just going to park the car in the shady spot and watch this baby sleep. You know what? I'm going to have a nap too. So we look like a family of hobos having a nap in my car. Anyhow.
Please leave this chat in a box for future Penelope so we can tell her we're not laughing at her, we're laughing at her parents.
Aww.
Thanks.
Maybe we shouldn't tell embarrassing Penelope stories.
She'll be fine.
But when she gets married, you'll have all of this taped out.
You're right,
Yeah.
right.
It's
Or you
perfect.
can do, what I did with Bill. You store them up and then you ask permission, sorta. And then you tell them to the worldwide public.